Hey bitches, it's Thursday and we're gonna talk about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Alright, so this week is my theme, and I want to talk about sex. I think sex is a great topic. I think sex is a topic that everyone wants to talk about. Sex is a topic that everyone knows something about, even if you're a virgin. Sex. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's controversial. It's scandalous. Sex is the one thing that every human on this planet does. Whether they are Christian, whether they're gay, straight, black, white, old, young, it doesn't matter. Everyone likes sex. Christians have sex too. It's weird. I know. Because as Christians we were raised thinking such bad things about condoms and things like that. And while I'm talking about that, I think that due to Christianity is the reason so many teenage pregnancies occur. If you would raise your children not to be afraid of condoms, maybe they would use them. I don't know, it's weird how that works. Yeah. And how about all the women that are HIV positive? That is a terrible tragedy. Yeah, when AIDS was a gay disease, that was a tragedy too, but unfortunately, it's no longer a gay disease. It's now a human being disease, and it's a terrible thing. We have so much AIDS education on respect yourself, protect yourself. Now what about the straight people? Then there's churches that are like, I don't believe in condoms, and yeah. But sex. Does more sex equal a better lover? Or does more sexual partners equal a slut? Yeah, I don't know. I've got very conflicting thoughts. I always thought growing up that you had to save yourself for marriage. So I never had sex with a girl. I never played around with a girl. I never was tempted. I never desired it. I've had many girls. I was engaged many times. 3 to 4. Yeah, 4. Technically 4. But yeah. I was engaged several times. And some of my fiancés would try to do the oral sex and I couldn't. The Bible says we can't do this. It was very easy for me to use that excuse. However, I had been experimenting with boys on and off since I was 9 years old. But I knew I was never going to marry a boy. So I don't have to save myself for him. I would just save myself for her. Yeah, weird double standard. Many of my Christian friends that I went to college with had saved themselves for marriage. And married people that I've never had sex ever. And therefore, they ended up being in completely horrible sexual relationships where they were not sexually compatible. They were not... Yeah. And I've had girlfriends and guy friends message me and be like, what do I do about this? How do I feel about that? And I'm like, you made a commitment. Now, the one thing I would suggest to them is to get more creative, get more explorative, get more adventurous. But does more sexual partners equal a better lover? I don't know. I'm going to say yes. However, in the gay community especially, where people... Let's put it this way. However, in the gay community, you can't... If you're looking for sex, you don't have to look for more than maybe 2 hours and you'll find sex. If you really want sex, you're going to find it. There's at least 10 to 15 websites where you can find somebody local to you, like Bear 411 or Adam for Adam or something like that, or Blender or Grindr, where you can find somebody right now in your area. Not to mention the cruising parks, the bathhouses. Fort Lauderdale itself has 3 bathhouses, 1 sex club, and then I don't even know how many bookstores where you can go and, you know, suck somebody's dick through a glory hole. Let's talk about sex like it's red wine. You start off, oh, it's too dry, it's too dry, it's too dry. Let me try with like a white Zinfandel. And then you start drinking the white Zen, you're like, oh, I think I'm ready for it. And your palate gets developed. So you start going for more dry wine, more dry wine, more dry wine. And the problem with that and their palates getting more developed, some people are always chasing the bigger the better. You know, they go from penises to fists, or they go for the extreme, like piss or shit, or golden showers or scat, or, you know, I don't even know what a lot of people are into right now, but they're always chasing that newly stimulated thing, something that, you know, upping the stakes, if you will. That might not be such a good thing, but sex is beautiful. Sex is wonderful. Sex is great. And I do truly believe that between two consenting adults, there's nothing wrong with sex at all. Be creative, be fun, be adventurous. Sex is great. Why not? But again, as long as it's between two consenting adults. Yeah, there's a lot of straight guys that are chasing, you know, bookstore sex and things just to get a blowjob or whatever, because it's easy. Doesn't mean they're gay, it just means they stuck their dick through a hole in the wall and somebody sucked it. You know, I mean, but it can be dangerous too. You know, the thing is, sexually transmitted diseases are transmitted sexually. Guess what? It says it right in the name. You have to respect yourself enough to protect yourself. Do it. No one's going to do it for you. The other part of my question was, do you lie when giving your number? To be honest with you, I stopped counting my numbers. By the time I reached college, it was a lot of people. A lot. More than I think a good Christian should say out loud. And am I ashamed of it? No. I think that everything I've done in my life has led me to where I am today. You know, and it's still, even this week, I had some trade, and it was, something happened that had never happened before. Okay, for those of you that do yoga, I used to do yoga a long time ago, there's a position called shoulder stand and plow. And I was with this guy who was passionate, aggressive, dominant, and which is all the things I like in a partner. And takes me and throws me up. And I'm now in the shoulder stand and plow. Never have done this in sex before. Didn't even know I could. I mean, I used to do this position in yoga. By the way, he didn't know I did yoga. But I think because I went to this position so easily, I'm very flexible. He let me stay there. So, meanwhile, I'm on my bed, in the shoulder stand and plow, and my legs are spread, and he had an all-you-can-eat buffet, let's put it that way. Something I'd never experienced before. And I was like, whoa, this is kind of fun. Yeah, so even someone that had been very adventurous in the past, I still get surprised. The one thing that might frighten me about being too sexually active is, just like ecstasy or alcohol or a drug, when you're always trying to chase that first high. You know, like with ecstasy, you take that one pill and you're like in heaven and you're in this amazing place. But before long, you're taking 13, 14 pills to try to find that original feeling. And that's the one thing I'm afraid of with sex. And to me, I don't want to have to ever chase that original high with sex. So there are times in my life when I completely just phase out. I'm like, no sex for a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, you know, and then somebody, you know, contacts me again, or, you know, wants a repeat or a hangout. And my thing right now is, I am a sexually active adult. And I have a couple people that I play with that I'm not committed to, I'm not dating, I'm just, I guess, friends with benefits relationship would be a good word for it. And that's okay with me. I'm comfortable with that. It's a safe, you know, we're both getting what we need physically, we're both getting our needs met emotionally, but without having that attachment or that label or that title. And I'm okay with that. Yeah, and it's good for me right now. I eventually do want a relationship with somebody, but for right now, I'm single and not committed to anybody and just enjoying myself. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But again, respect yourself, protect yourself, get tested regularly. I get tested every 6 months. I get tested before Gay Pride, and I get tested before my birthday in January. And yeah, or unless I have a scare, then, or something happens, like a condom breaks or something, then I might go and outside of my 6 months. But so far, everything's been good, you know. Yeah, but no, I do understand that a lot of people, men and women, and men and men, and women, when they ask that stupid question, how many people have you been with, they always want you to say a low number. But if your husband is really treating you right and getting your shit together, chances are he's not a virgin. And he knows to do things and or tricks because he's not a virgin. And therefore you must kind of in your subconscious mind thank people for putting you in that land of ecstasy that he can only do because he has tripped down that lane before. But anyways, I picked this topic this week because I wanted the girls to talk about sex, and I wanted to hear their thoughts. Unfortunately, from my background, it was something very taboo and not talked about. And unfortunately, in my senior year of high school, every girl had a kid except for one. Some of them had many before they graduated, and it was just a sad thing, you know. And one of the administrators of school was like, maybe we should offer condoms to the students. And my father was one of the people like, no, you know, the Bible says. Well, guess what? I don't care what the Bible says. Kids are having sex. They are. They're going to have sex. You should at least give them the condom. I don't know why people are so afraid of condoms. They save lives. Looking real quick to recap last week. There was no Monday. I think we are looking officially for a Monday girl. We haven't discussed this as a group yet, but my thoughts are, if we're going to do a Monday girl, I would love for a tranny to audition. We have an international voice from across the seas. We have a couple girls on our channel that are newcomers and have not performed. We have an upper East Coast, a southern East Coast experienced drag queen. I would love an experienced drag queen who is also a transsexual, because I think a transsexual voice would give a much more, I don't know what I'm looking for. I guess it would give a unique point of view. Yeah. I don't know. That's just me. Tuesday was Katana Ray. Katana, it was so nice to see you. As a boy, I think you're a beautiful boy, even with glitter lipstick. Gorgeous. And it was nice to see you in a better place. I'm really happy that you are back. And about the Rihanna, why is it so current? She was actually just on Oprah talking about, publicly, her abuse with Chris. And it's actually really back in the news again. So that's why Portia was like, oh, the Chris and Rihanna, blah, blah. Yeah, it's very current. It was a couple months ago, but it's back. And I totally agree with you about the dumb people resorting to violence. Queens can be a little more fierce and think on their feet, whereas we'll be like throwing our words around with shade. But yeah, ignorant people just resort to their fists. It's dumb, it's redneck, it's white trash, it's disgusting. Portia Lane Aquarius. Wednesday girl. Yeah, I kept thinking you were saying touche instead of touche. But yeah, I totally agree with you on the insecurity aspect of shade. The reason queens are so shady is they put down other people so they could feel better about themselves. I might be feeling fat today, but if I'm around people and I want to impress, I'm going to put down you and make you feel stupid so that I can feel better about myself in this circle of friends. But what people don't realize is the more they put down others, the more dumb they look. It's really kind of stupid. And I'm really sorry about hearing about your boyfriend. And I wish you luck, you know. And I said this in my video last week, but you don't need a boyfriend. So if things aren't working out, just focus on you. Take some time for you. Focus on me. A lot of times we resort, I don't know about your relationship, but a lot of times people resort to relationships so that they can, you know, have financial security or a place to live or whatever. And I hope you're not in that situation, that you can just actually take the time to focus on you and find somebody better, you know. Lady Portia, Friday. Girl, you had me laughing when you were doing the whole domestic violence gig in the beginning of your video. Go Tina Turner in your lip sync-ish. Don't be recording that Queens of the Week. It actually really reminded me of that movie Sparkle. I think Katana talked about how it's oftentimes our theme is very current in the press. Right after I recorded my video, I went and saw Sparkle. And that topic was just, you know, Sparkle's sister was a singer and got hooked up into a domestic violence. And I definitely agree with you on the fact that as a true friend, you need to stay there and defend your friend and grab a night bag. Be like, look, you're getting out of this situation. And that's what her sisters were doing for her. But unfortunately, right before she left with the suitcase and her sisters, she went back to her husband. But as a true friend, I agree, you should never, ever sit and watch. You should always speak up and or let your voice be heard and let them know that, hey, come crash on my couch. You know, you have a place to stay. You don't have to stay here. Pedro was our Saturday whore. Yeah, I thought you were auditioning for The Color Purple, so I approve your monologue. I would hire you, actually. You got cast. Yeah. My number one thing I want to say to you is you worry too much what others think about you. You don't need to tell people in your videos that you're not the most favorite drag queen in the world. Guess what? Nobody is. Even RuPaul is not the most favorite drag queen in the world. You are not. I am not. Nobody is. There's as many people that love us that hate us. Don't worry about what other people think of you. It's just a waste of time. Don't. Just do what you gotta do. And I think it was unique and fun the way you did your video. Obviously, you don't have a lot of relationship experience, so how are you going to give a topic about the shady domestic violence that happens in our community if you don't know firsthand? And to do a commercial for an abuse hotline, why not? I think it was creative and fun. Don't worry about what others think. Keep doing you. Fierce and fabulous. Anyways, loving you is easy. Talk to you soon. Bye.